Right then, welcome back to the channel. Another Landrover video for you. Now, this car, the last time I had it out, I took it to the Billing Landrover show. I may have gone through the mud run with a little bit of passion, flooded the entire engine and killed the alternator. So she's a little bit dead at the minute. So I need to pull the engine apart. Now, this works out quite well because just before billing, I used this to move a 3-ton digger, and it didn't like it. Absolutely. I was in low box to set off from the lights. It was that painful. And even though it is a standard TD5, shouldn't be that bad. I complained about it on the internet, and a company got in touch. Now, there's a few names in Land Rover tuning, and there's a lot of pop and bang maps. I am not a pop and bang sort of person. Now, like I said, there's a lot of names. There's one name that's been doing this longer than anyone. That's Alive. So when they got in touch with me, I did a little accident because, like I said, there isn't a name that's been doing this longer. So they've got in touch. They've very kindly provided me with some goodies at an extremely good price. We'll get into some details about what they've provided shortly. But for now, I think first thing we need to do, whilst this looks clean outside, you open the bonnet and there's still a lot of billing mud under there. So I think the first thing to do is go and steam clean this, pull it into the workshop, strip the old intercooler out, get the exhaust manifold off, get the alternator off, put the nice new shiny bits on and get this thing back up and running. Once we've done those bits, we can get it down to Alive where it's going to have the turbo fitted and be tuned on the rolling road. Oh, I need to put a clutch in it as well, because apparently if I put the turbo map on, the clutch will just explode. So Luke at LOF is sorting me out a clutch to suit the package. Those Luke and Alive have been talking to each other, very smart people, do very smart things. So yeah, let's crack on. Also, you might have noticed the Chinese Temu mics, I hit them with a hammer. They were obviously made by a child who wasn't concentrating when he put them together, and they were terrible. So I've given in, I've bought the DJI mics, and I've invested in some new cameras as well. So please appreciate it. Click the subscribe, like, leave a comment, because I need to pay for this stuff. It's bloody dear. Anyway, let's get this out of the way. Let's get it steamed off, and we can go from there. Of course, as usual, we've got multiple machines in the way. Oh, please don't have a flat battery. Oh, we're in luck. Maybe? Oh, yes. Why you no turn off? Maybe? Thank you. Right, so now we're getting somewhere. Get rid of all that crap in the back. And go and grab a jump pack, I think, is the next bit of the job. So on the fix list is probably strip the starter motor out and clean the contactors up in it. I imagine they are full of mud. Stupid thing. Yes, you can see why it needs a bit of a pressure wash. So, we've started the strip down. Now, I've started by trying to get the alternator out. Most of it done, and then straight away the bottom bolt, which is a T47 Torx, has rounded out, and it's a pain to get at. Right, so first of all, my apologies for being a terrible YouTuber. I'm getting used to that DJI Nano thing that I can wear, and haven't turned it on while I was washing this off and did the first bit of stripping because I am a moron, as you all know. Anyway, we have got this back in the shed, the new workshop. It's all been redone. I will do a tour on that when it's finished, but she's in a state of undress at the minute, but it's pissing it down, so I weren't doing this thing outside. So, what we've done so far, started stripping the alternator off because I needed to use this truck, so I thought I'll do a quick 2-hour job, chucking an alternator on it, rounded the bolt off in the bottom, which is a bloody rain. Rounded that bolt off in the bottom, which is a bit of a pig to get at. I needed to take the rad pack out anyway, because it is full of mud, and I have that rather sexy new intercooler to fit, so might as well get that steam cleaned off, get that fit. Then that gave me so much better access for doing that alternator, and I'll leave it off while I do all this, because again, every extra bit of room you can get just makes life much more pleasant. So, we're going to get the new alternator that's down there thrown in, get that all buttoned up. I'll leave the belt off for now. I'll do that absolutely last. So yeah, we'll get that new alternator bolted up. Then it is time to, if I turn the light around, look at this, we're getting professional. Then it's time, I'm going to strip the manifold off, get the turbo off, get this old manifold off, so I've got a new de-webbed and machined one to go on, extract any broken studs, which will be fun, we all love that job. And then we can see how much, I'm guessing, because one of the bolts, I think it's that one there, won't tighten up, so I'm guessing it's already blowing. In fact, I'm 99% sure it's already blowing. So just fixing that should instantly give us more power. And then next stage after that is to get Luke up from LOF to put the heavy duty clutch in, and then we go down to Alive, have the new boosty boy fitted, and big exciting things happen, and we probably blow the head off this thing, but at least it'll be fun while we do it. So let's crack on, let's get this alternator back in and do many magic things over here. I should have filmed this, like I say, I'm getting to grips with all these new cameras and things, and I'm a mechanic, not a bloody editor, or, well, you can all tell that. I'm going to stop waffling and actually do some work. Right, so progress has been made, alternator is in, and I stand by my previous comments. Whoever designed that alternator setup, yeah, they need violating with a pineapple. The wrong way around. Anyway, let me move the light and I'll show you where we are. So I've took the heat shields off so you can see where we're at before we make a go at this. So I'm pretty sure this manifold's been blowing there, look. And that's the stud that would never tighten up. So I think I'm going to find that that's either stripped out or need to helicoil it. We're going to have to do some creative work there. So anyway, we're going to get all these other things that get the manifold freed off. Hopefully, it's been a long time since I've done that. I think I can just move the turbo back and it'll give me just enough room to get the manifold out. Then we can clean that face up, we can get the new manifold slapped in, and away we go. Fingers crossed. I'm going to have a look as well, see if I've got an oil filter, because anyone who's worked on one of these TD5s will know that the oil filter that's down under there is an absolute pig to get at, and with the turbo out of the way it'll be a lot easier. So let's crack on. Oh, but first, you know how I mentioned I went through the mud run at Billing, and I may have, basically there was a crowd and a few people shouted, "Oh, that's fittermat." So I'm like, can't get stuck. So I sent it. That's why the radiator's full of mud. It looks like I may have also had a very lucky escape, because that's what's left of my air filter. So I think she sucked some water up. Luckily, not enough to damage anything. Fingers crossed. It's been running fine since. So, turbo's got a little bit of play in it, but like I said, because we've got it, as soon as this job's done, the clutch is done, it's going to Alive for a new turbo. I ain't worried about that. But yeah, let's get this whipped off and we'll see what we can do. I'll even try out the new camera so that you guys can see what I see, hopefully. We'll see how she goes. So once again we are back. The manifold is off. Let me get you a better view. And as we can quite clearly see, she was sweating away all of her power out of this cylinder right here. The rest of them, all pretty good. Now comes the fun bit. I'm going to get these studs out without snapping them. And speaking from experience, this can be a challenge. Now, what I'm doing here, I'll try and show you. If I'd not lost the mount for my fancy new camera, I could show you me doing this. So I wind the two nuts together, and then they'll just wind out, hopefully. Now, one trick, when you've bathed them in penetrating oil, is to just keep, as you're working them out, just work them backwards and forwards. Soon as you feel a bit of resistance on that coming out, this one's not too bad. Wind it back and forwards, and you'll just help work that oil in there. You'll help work any dirt out as you come, so that hopefully you don't snap it and end up drilling them out. Another trick we can do with these, because we have got brand new studs to go in, is any that feel like they're going to snap, I'll weld a nut on the end, and then we're getting some heat down into the threads to help break the thing free. But fingers crossed, hopefully it won't come to that. Then all we've got to do, clean these faces up, drive to DLS first thing in the morning and get a new gasket. Then we can put this thing back together, stick the new intercooler in, stick the new rad back in, drive it, and go and do the day's work that we were supposed to do today. Right, let's get these wound out. Try the dodgy one. And this is the one that was working loose, so if any of them are going to be snapped, I'm expecting it to be this one. I'll be honest. This is the one I don't hold any faith at all in. But, yeah, she's loosey-goosey. Very, I don't know if you can see, let me just put a bit more light on it. She is scarily loose. Either it's knackered the thread, or we're not pulling all of the stud out here. Oh, cross your fingers for me. I don't want to see a knackered. I think I might curse myself for saying this. I think I'd rather extract a partially broken stud than trying a helicoil or aluminium head. Though I should probably, after speaking to a few people, try time certs rather than helicoils. That is that broken or? Ah! I think we just got lucky, boys. I think we just got very lucky. That thread looks healthy. You can see in that thread looks healthy to me. Have we left anything in there? And there's nothing in there. And that thread looks healthy. Oh, I hope they all go like this. I tell you what, everyone will be screaming, "Oh, YouTuber, pretending that job's easy and everything always goes right." If I don't snap any, I ought to snap one really on purpose, shouldn't I? Just to prove a point. And again, look how loose that one was. It's all, the two that have been loose have both been where it was blowing. So it might not even have been that this one warped the manifold, because that old manifold I took off, whilst it hasn't been de-webbed, someone has slit the webs to give it a bit of movement. It might just be that these two studs have come loose, and that's it. This is good stuff for anyone who hasn't used it. Auto Smart don't just do cleaning stuff. That mech oil is absolutely fabulous. Every time you just meet that bit of resistance, don't force it. That's what she said. Just keep winding them out. So what we're doing now is prepping this thing for the new manifold. So first job is clean all these threads up. Now this kit from Alive came with new studs. It also came with a proper Presto made in Sheffield. And as we all know, the best things are made in Sheffield. At least ones that concerning steel. So we'll clean the threads out so the new studs have the best chance. The new studs also have a little hex head in them so you can wind them in properly. So we'll clean these out, and I will get these faces cleaned up. Just to give the gasket its best chance. Been and collected a new gasket from my mates over at DLS, Derbyshire Landrover Spares. I'll add a little link in the description down below because DLS, they're based over Wirksworth near Matlock. They are the best. Now, where they're a bit different from a lot of parts suppliers is they have their own workshop on site as well. So they're a garage as well as a parts supplier. So it's nice sometimes to be able to talk to someone and say sort of, well, can I get away with the cheaper stuff on this build for this job, or do I need to buy the genuine? What manufacturer do you recommend for this part? They're absolutely brilliant, those guys. They know what they're talking about, and they're passionate about the product as well. They've all got their own sort of Land Rovers and projects on the go, so you know you're dealing with the right sort of people. Anyway, less of me twaddling on, because that's all these videos seem to end up being, which I suppose is right, because it is my channel, but, well, I'm going to get these done, because this must be boring as hell for you to watch, and you want me to get to the bit where I start this up for the first time and grenade the engine, or get upset that I forgot to put a Jubilee clip on and coolant pisses everywhere. So I will let you fast forward while I have to clean out all of these and emery paper all of this and do all of the really fun stuff. I might make you watch, but I might let you listen to a bit of music whilst we do so. So yes, come back when we're ready to refit the studs and the manifold. Right, so we've cleaned that face. Let me get you some light. You guys don't have the benefit of right, so we've cleaned that up. We've cleaned the face of the manifold up. So next job is to wiggle that back just enough so that we can work this in. I get up on my stool because I'm a midget. As soon as the old one came off, we should have just enough wiggle room to... Oop, that was me falling off the stool. Wow. Get you wiggled in. Without breaking... God, one day on one of these videos, I'll make it look like I know what I'm doing. Anyway, so that's in. We just need to replace that gasket. Yeah, just replace that gasket, clean those faces up, put that back in, do those up, and we are getting somewhere. Put these on. I think some people do go wrong sometimes, just gorillaing these things up and stretching the threads before they've even started. And as we all know, these TD5s do not need any help in the manifolds. Just hiding off. Try not to drop it. Really fancy pants nuts they've included in this kit. Though I would say that they should probably in this kit give you like an extra one of these, because chances are at least one of them on one of these little piggy horrible ones underneath is getting dropped. So exhaust manifold is on. Turbo's bolted back up, and I decided to check the air filter out, because remember I said I thought it had a bit of damage. I think I need to go and buy a lottery ticket. That is about as close as you can get to killing your engine without killing your engine. Jesus, I got lucky there. that is definitely lottery ticket time. So next job then is clean that airbox out, chuck the new ITG filter in, supplied by Live, and go buy a lottery ticket. Bloody hell. So, we are back. Sorry, I couldn't be asked to plug microphones in. Right, like before, turbo's all in now, all that gubbins is done. We are plumbed back in with the rad and the intercooler pipe work. That one just wants adjusting a bit. Sexy new intercooler is in. That is of a size. You have to take all this out to get it. It's not a... Don't buy one of these thinking it's a 10-minute job. It ain't. But, oh, she looks good. With the worn and the Defender and the very green... I'm going to have to replace that, aren't I? More expense. Anyway, so that's all in. I just need to... I've blanked that pipe off. I need to blank the other one off. I need to mend this one that I broke being ham-fisted. And then, we're pretty much done. Fan back on, fan cowling. There's a bit of trim on top to go on. The only big job left is repairing my whoopsie. So that is, so the airbox, and obviously, so the back there, that is the inside of it. I don't think I want any of that getting sucked up. So what I'm going to do now, if that's that bad, it's got a tide mark. If that's that bad, the rest of it's going to be full of muck as well. So realistically now, what I need to do, as much as it's going to be a colossal ball ache, and not what I want to be doing when I could be in the pub having my dinner, is strip off the rest of this induction pipe work. There's another one. You can see it down there, that one there, you see that Jubilee clip, that needs to come off and be cleaned. And then there's another bit down under there that needs to come off. And this bit I'll probably just get away with doing from here with a rag, if that's off. But yeah, all that needs to come off so that I can steam clean it tomorrow when there's daylight. And then we should be back on the road. So yes, so these are the induction parts of the Defender. So this is the pipe that leads up to the airbox. You can see it is full of poo. So we'll get that steam cleaned tomorrow. Do think, so this is a little like drop valve almost. One-way valve supposedly, but that rubber has seen better days. So I might see if I can get a new one of these. But yeah, so that sits at the lowest point of your induction pipe work, with the idea being that if it sucks up small amounts of water, they drop into this and it can leak past that valve. But when it's sucking, so when the engine's running, it's actually pulling air in, it'll pull that rubber seal flat against there, and in theory, when it's running, water shouldn't be able to enter. But if it's leaking a bit and it's pulling, it probably can creep out, especially if it's submerged. It's not ideal. But just a very old-fashioned sort of valve design. But yeah, if it works, it works. That was the actual intakey bit. So that's fairly clean. But while we're messing about, and especially because this thing's going to be sucking harder than a blonde when the rent's due with the new turbo, it's probably better to get this thing all cleaned up so there's nothing to get pulled up into the airbox. So yeah, first job tomorrow, get all that steam cleaned. Might tidy up the destruction, jam it all back on, and then yeah, she should hopefully drive out of here. So I'm going to head to the pub for some dinner and a drinky poo, and yeah, we'll hit this thing in the morning and hopefully drive her out of here tomorrow. It'd be nice. I've missed this old thing. Plus I've sort of done a deal now for the Ranger to leave, so we need this back on the road. So as you can see, she made it out the shed. However, didn't make it much further. Now, first of all, got to go in. That new intercooler performs perfectly. Whole pipework performs perfectly. No coolant leaks, nothing. Seems to have a bit more oomph about it. That could be due to the new intercooler. It could also be due to the fact that she no longer is losing all her ponies with that exhaust manifold leak. It would start pissing it down the minute I come out to do this, wouldn't it? But then we had a problem. Partly because of this piece of junk and partly because of the piece of junk behind the camera. So I decided, in my wisdom, I'd give it its first drive off camera to make sure everything were all right, so I didn't look like a complete incompetent. Turns out I am. Well, I'm not, Landrover are. So this thing has decided to kill its fuel pump. I came to it the other day. I was meant to be going shooting yesterday. Thought, oh, got my Landrover back. Perfect vehicle. Turns out no, she didn't want to go. So flipped the key, turning over, wouldn't start. Well, it's a bit weird. Wonder what's going off. Weren't even coughing, so it's definitely fuel. And then realised I couldn't hear that familiar whine that all TD5 owners will be familiar with. So, whilst the next video was going to be doing more cool stuff to this, I had Luke from LOF due to come up with a clutch so we can get ready for the turbo down at Alive. Turns out what we're actually going to have to do is fuel pump. But to keep that video interesting, because nobody wants to see me just put a fuel pump in, I think we'll put a proper access hole in the back to make life easier in future. I think in that same video, I've been talking with a few companies about some lighting upgrades, because this thing's dimmer than me. It's winter, it's cold, we need to upgrade it. So I think in this next video, rather than doing the clutch, we will fix the fuel pump, get the thing actually driving again. We've got the Britpart lights that they kindly sent me, so we're going to get them fitted. I've been talking to the chaps at Terra Firma as well. We're going to put some spotlights on this thing. Really make it stand out a bit with the lighting. There's a few other little ideas I've got as well. The other job, I don't know if you can see back there, that is my old van. And because that's a police CCTV van, it's got a proper Webasto night heater in it. And let me take you for a little walk over there. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, she's off to the scrapyard. So we're going to pull that Webasto out, fit that in the Defender, and yeah, so we'll have something that heats. In the meantime, it's a good job I went to Euro Auctions the other week and bought that Transit, because otherwise I'd have nothing to run about in. So I've took the Ranger off the road, ready for selling it. It's not been good for me for vehicles. I've also got that coming up on the channel if you want to see it. That is my uncle's Isuzu Trooper. Sadly, he's no longer with us. That was one of his favourite cars. So I'm going to put it back on the road and then make it fit to be a daily driver again. Because honestly, after Land Rovers, those Isuzu Troopers are probably my favourite 4x4. I think I've had about 4 or 5 of them. Absolutely cracking motors. But without further ado, I think it's time to go and get something to eat. Finally put this video out because I've been procrastinating about it for fucking ages. So I'll get this edited up, get this out this evening, and yeah, let me know what you think about that. Oh, other one we could do, actually, I'm off to Euros again tomorrow to have a look round, see if there's hotels I want to sort of purchase. Any of you interested in having a look round Euro Auctions with me? Could film a bit of that. If anyone's after a Transit flatbed, I have this lovely one for sale. She's a 2-litre wet belt, and yes, I know what you're all going to say, then wet belt engines. Actually, they're not. Apart from the wet belt, which isn't an issue if you look after them. If you service them correctly with the correct grade of oil, they're not so bad. Knock 10,000 mile off at service interval. And generally, in my experience, they kill the vacuum pump about a month before they kill the wet belt. Because when they block up the oil strainer on the bottom, that's the first thing to get starved or oil and die. But other than that, cracking engine. Do loads to gallon. I've only put 1 tank of diesel in that since I bought it last month. I've been running all over in it. It's done 160,000 mile, which if it were a bad engine, it wouldn't make it to 160,000, would it? But yeah, if that's something you'd be interested in, that is up for sale currently. I want 8.5 grand plus VAT for it. She's absolutely mint. Wait a minute, let me swap you round. Ignore the dirt. Obviously we live in the countryside, but she's mint. Like, even the bed of it, like, ignore my junk, it's barely had out in. Now my theory is, because it's got this little Anderson connector on it, that this thing was used to run around with a fuel bowser. That's why it's clocked the miles up it has. It's had the same man in it all the time, because it's absolutely spotless inside as well. So yeah, high miles, but where else are you going to get a 22 plate van for less than 10 grand? So 8.5 grand plus that. Send me a message over on one of other apps, Instagram or somewhere, if you're actually genuinely interested. Don't waste my time, because being told to F off generally offends. But yeah, hey, that'd be a good way to end this video if I could actually sell some at that job. But getting back to the point, if you want to have a look around Euro Auctions with me tomorrow, comment down below and I will make a video of that as well and get that up this week. So, right, I want some lunch. I'll see thee. Have a good one. Don't forget to click down there, like, subscribe. I'm terrible at this YouTube thing, aren't I?